Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I'm a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you're watching this kind of content. The name of this channel is Manifesting Magic the Practical Way, because there are a lot of practicalities to manifesting the lives that we choose, right? So this is what I'm discussing today. Many people that I talk to, or many environments that I've been in, I've come to realize that when they think they have a money problem, generally they have a people problem, not a money problem, right? So I often talk about this on this channel all the time about who you're surrounding yourself with and what are some of the qualities of the people that you have in your space. So it's not to say that you have to do some type of getting rid of people in your space or whatever. But, if that's what you're working on, trying to create new environments with new types of people, then, I'm all for it. But what it is to say is that sometimes we don't have the right type of financial energy in our space, and we don't have the right type of people who understand this energy, and we may be surrounded by too many people with struggle money mindset, so we can't get our thinking to be normalized into abundance or to be normalized on a higher level because of this constant barrage of self-defeating conversations as it relates to finances. When I think back to like my 30s, like I always section my life off by like 30 to 40 years old. I was putting in the work. I was doing the stuff. My children were little. I was, working at 5 colleges at one time, driving here, driving there, driving here, driving there. And I was also still dealing with a lot of internal turmoil as it related to what I thought my life was supposed to be and then what I actually was experiencing, right? But I didn't want to spend too much time in that place because I knew that it was going to hinder me from creating more in the future. And I'm so grateful that I took that time to sort of build myself in that way, because I then allowed myself to grieve what I thought was going to be and then to move forward and accept where I was in life and that it wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, but also find a way to be grateful for it no matter what, finding contentment no matter what, right? And so during that time, I remember being surrounded by a lot of people and a lot of different, especially single moms and stuff like that. Like I had a lot of camaraderie, homeschool mothers, people. And every conversation about finances that I found myself in, it was always in a very limited context. It was always a very limited approach. I remember going to ballet, bringing my daughters to the ballet classes, and they were supposed to be in this play in the winter called The Nutcracker. It was for Christmas. I didn't care anything about the Nutcracker, but I just wanted them to participate in some kind of way. And so I remember going into the place where they were taking their classes regularly, and one of the moms who was helping out, and she would sit at the register and ring people up and work things out. I remember I was telling her that I wanted to sign the girls up for the play. And she was like, oh, but you're going to have to pay for costumes too, right? And I was like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, it's going to be for 2 of them. And I'm like, that's fine. And then she says, and then you got to pay the dues for she kept putting a price tag on every piece of the experience, right? She went so far that I wound up saying, you know what? Never mind. And I didn't say never mind because I didn't think I wanted to pay for it. I said never mind because I didn't like the negative financial energy that she was dragging down into my space, right? I didn't want to be bothered with it. And even at that time, I knew that, people have a problem with money. Money's not a problem. It's the people and how they look at it and how they handle it and how they view money. And especially if you're in places where people are viewing money as the devil or something as evil, then you really, really have issues with bringing finances into your life, which you might want to do good things with, but you have so many people in your space saying how money is not everything, money is not, and we already know these things, right? But how can we have our needs met without having something related to transactional goods, right? Even us that want to create things, even those of us that are writing books or making music or, making clothing or making arts and crafts and selling things online, the bottom line is that you have to find some way to get the seed money to create those things. And then you also need to be able to make money from those things because you want to do more of it, right? I would love to say that we can all just walk around and go grabbing the resources out of the sky, right? But it doesn't always work that way. A lot of times we are in situations to where we want to do better. We know that we deserve better. We know we're worthy of it. And we know we have the ability to create it, but we're not necessarily surrounded by environments that support the abundance that we want to achieve, right? And so many people think that their surroundings and their environment does not affect their ceiling, right? But I have never heard of a motivational speaker, not even a pastor, not even anybody of any high intellect that didn't say something to the effect of birds of a feather, right? I think it's Les Brown that says you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be number 10, right? Because where's the conversation? Where's the energetic pull that's taking everybody to the next level? Somebody has to push forward, right? And especially in our lives when we see that we've come to a cap and we can't figure out why we can't get past this certain part of our development, especially as it relates to our finances. The first thing I would urge you to do is ask yourself, what type of money conversations am I having with the people around me? What type of money conversations and ideas about money are they implanting in my head, right? I remember a common one when I was growing up was always a lump sum of money, right? And so I kind of started living my way in that mindset that there was no way to create consistent income in my life and have it do any good, that I needed to get a lump sum of money in order to create any headway. And I didn't realize I had the lump sum sickness until like I look back at my 10 years and it served me well. Can't even say it doesn't serve me, right? Because I'm the kind of person, I'll get a lump sum and I'll make that lump sum last until the next lump sum show up, right? So I can't say that it didn't serve me, but I was definitely ready for another level of financial abundance. And so I had a mindset of waiting on tax time. I had a mindset of waiting on my once a month checks from whatever schools I was teaching at, waiting from my once semester scholarship or grant money that was coming to me or something. And I always had this mindset, like I'll just spend and do what I got to do. And then when that lump sum comes in, then I can replenish everything and then go at it again. And mind you, when you're raising small children and you're trying to not fill up all of your time and energy with going to a job, that worked out really great for me. But as time went on, I realized if you ever want to get out of this lump sum mentality, or if you ever want to if you ever want to get to the point where you're not always trying to catch up and wait for the next lump sum, you have to get around people who understand money a little bit different, right? So one of the first things that I remember doing and employing in my life, I guess, because this is not a list video, but I could just think back to, I remember joining these groups to where they were going on trips and doing these things that I knew that I couldn't afford. And the reason, the reason being is because I wanted that abundance that they had to be as normalized in my space as it was normalized in their space. Another way that I've always managed to do this is making sure I lived in the right environments, right? I'm the kind of person who will go really heavy on the side of where I live, and then I'll cut corners with everything else. Like I'll budget and manage everything else in my life accordingly. But if where I'm living is not a place where people have the right money attitude or the right money energy, I never want to live in those places, right? And so some people think it's all about being bougie. It's not. It's about creating more abundance and seeing the world in a way that you don't have the capability of, because the people you have surrounded yourself with, and you being one of them, cannot see outside of the level of financial abundance that you are currently in, right? So that's why I always say that. And I said in a video before, many people think, oh, if I only had this money to do this, if I only got some more money to do this, if I only got paid more, if I only got this or that. And it's really not the case, because you'll meet them the same time the next year and they'll still be saying the same thing. And I'm like, you don't have a money problem. You have a problem with who are you surrounding yourself with, who are you listening to, and what's being, what ideas and concepts about finances are being embedded in your head on a regular basis, right? So if you're around people and everybody's all humdrum about money, that's going to rub off on you. If you're around people and everybody's all struggle mindset about money, like always trying to make it to the next paycheck and going paycheck to paycheck, you're going to be the same way. If you're around people who's always talking about what they can and can't afford, you're going to be very much so thinking the same way. And I've been in several situations to where I refuse to think that way. And I've been out and about and people have gotten annoyed and mad with me because they were like, oh, but you could save money if you buy this. And I'm like, well, I don't want that one. I want this one. And I believe that if I buy something of higher quality, I won't have to buy it over and over again. And I've had people really just be like, well, you're going to be wishing that you got the one that was on sale later. And I'm like, I can't be that tight. I don't know how to be that scarce, because if I'm going to believe that this universe is as abundant as it is in creating all the amazing and beautiful things that we all get to experience every single day on some level, and other people and their outcomes and their breakthroughs, then I have to be able to believe that saving $10 on something that I don't want and then using the $10 to get something that I truly want is going to be the better decision, right? And many people that I know that conducted their lives like that, if I look back now and I go catch up with them today or I talk to them, they're still in the same mindset. They still have the same exact mindset as money eludes them or finances elude them, because you have to figure out a way to surround yourself around people and environments that see finances as a tool and as something that you can use to develop and expand and evolve yourself, as opposed to something that you're constantly chasing and there's never enough of, right? Anyway, as I said before, many people have a people problem and not a money problem. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.